Hello, welcome. Today I want to talk about international research training groups, which is a kind of graduate school in Germany. So let me show you the slides. So international research training groups, double degree PhD programs between Germany and the rest of the world. And to begin, let me briefly recap the German university system, which is kind of particular in that there are two types of universities called university in English, but with distinct purposes and distinct names also in Germany. So there are a total of 106 public Universitäten, universities, and following the federal and provincial system in Germany, they are all the same level. So that was deliberately designed in that way. And this remained true until 2006. I could argue that this is still largely true since then, but the 2006 politics decided to distribute money unevenly, focus more money on some universities, and so the difference is largely a matter of how much funding the universities get since 2006, and thus how big they are, but not the level. The quality is, I'm going to argue, is still basically the same for universities. And 20 of these universities are technical universities, and this is to be distinguished from Hochschulen, which in English is sometimes called universities of applied sciences, but unfortunately the name also includes universities, which makes it prone or even purposefully for confusion. And it's not that they are one is better than the other, but they really serve different purposes. So the Universitäten are designed to be research-oriented with a goal of educating future scientists, whereas Hochschulen are education-oriented with a goal of educating future advanced white-collar workers and high-level civil servants for German government. In Universitäten, the teaching load is thus lower, 9 hours per week, but the classes may be very large, up to 1,000. I have myself have taught classes up to 400 and 400 students. So this is not uncommon. Whereas Hochschulen focusing on education, professors have twice the teaching load, 18 hours per week, but smaller classes sizes of typically about 30. Universitäten may bestow PhD degrees and habilitation degrees, which is a specialty of German and France and Russian education system, whereas Hochschulen mostly may not bestow PhDs on their own, only in collaboration with some university. So that's a German education university system. Let's talk in the sequel focus on Universitäten, where a professor usually has 1 to 4 PhD students. Again, the exceptions 0 or many more, sometimes in engineering, but this is a typical numbers. And these PhD students are usually employed by the university in return for serving and being paid as research assistants or TAs. So there's some money involved, and PhD graduation usually takes 4 to 7 years until defense, and there's a secret number that roughly half of them quit during this time or fail. Failing is actually, I think, not so common, but quitting is a secret, open secret that this happens. And this has been a source of criticism by politics, and in order to improve both, to accelerate the time for PhD graduation and to decrease the rate of quitting and failing PhD students, a new concept was devised: research training groups. And here I want to talk about international research training groups. These are department focused and application based projects with competitive funding for typically 9 years, 4 + 5 years, with a evaluation after the initial 3 years, I think. Being international means that they are collaborate with some department of a university abroad, outside of Germany. And this means co-advising, having one professor from the German university department and another advising professor from the university abroad, jointly supervising the PhD student. This was designed in the 1990s, with the purpose of accelerating the production of PhD graduates. So really just mostly a number, boosting the numbers, right? Here the students receive scholarships. They are not employed by the university, which means they don't contribute to the retirement pension, and in return they have no duties or service, just research and studying, and thus the time until defense was strictly set to be 3 years. After 3 years the funding ends, and exceptionally could be extended until a 4th year, but the goal really is for 3 years. So much faster, and indeed less fail students quit with this. And so during the 9 years of overall funding for such a group, funding for the scholarship of the PhD students, there are usually 3 consecutive or overlapping generations of 10 to 15 PhD students, plus funding includes typically 1 or 2 postdocs of 1 or 2 years each. And when pursuing such an international research training group in Germany, this is the requirement that the corresponding department abroad provides complementary service. That means professors for co-advising, and also students, PhD students in the partner university abroad. And for example, in Korea, NRF does provide such complementary funding. So let's talk a little bit more about this research training group. So this is a bilateral doctoral research training program at a German university and some partner university abroad. Usually a team of 5 to 12 experienced researchers, PIs on each side, professors or junior group leaders. And it's focused on research, innovative, focused, coherent research programs, or specific topic, tailored topic. And the goal is to produce PhD graduates, so it's a qualification component, research and qualification. And the benefit is research synergies through complementary resources, early integration of PhD students into the international research community, better qualification for careers in and outside of academia, and building block for cooperation. And since the 90s, roughly 130 such international research training groups have been conducted in Germany, and currently 36 of them are ongoing, right? Remember, the duration is at most 9 years, 4 + 5. And here you see the geographical distribution of the partner universities of these 36 German research training groups. And here you see the distribution among the social sciences and humanities, life sciences, natural sciences, and engineering, including computer science. And notice that there are 2 currently ongoing with Japan and 1 in Korea. And I want to talk particularly about these in the sequel, because I was a PI, I was a supervising professor at the International Research Training Group number 1529. So these are named consecutively, and yeah, also including non-international and including rejected and non-continued after the midterm evaluation. So 1529 with a specific topic on mathematical fluid dynamics. So it was with mathematics departments at Darmstadt Technical University and Mainz University. So this was kind of a little bit unusual because it involved 2 German universities, but they're not so far apart, 40 kilometers travel distance on the German side, and on the outside of Germany, international side was also 2 universities, the University of Tokyo and Waseda University. And again, these are both located in central Tokyo. So again, commuting is not a problem here. First phase was from 2009 to 2012. And second phase, that's where I joined, was 2013 to 2017. And during that time, I was able, with this program, to fund and thus to supervise a PhD student, Florian. And as part of the requirement of such an international research training group, any student must spend at least 1 semester, better 2 semesters at a partner university abroad. And he spent 2014 in Tokyo and graduated successfully in 2016. And conversely, Japanese PhD students would spend half or 1 year and in Germany before their graduation. Yes, and Florian was co-advised by my colleague at the University of Tokyo, Professor Akitoshi Kawamura. And here you see a picture at the successful midterm evaluation. Here you see Professor Kawamura and myself. And yeah, so that's an example for international research training groups. Other examples are here, University IRTG number 2156, which is in geology. And this is between University of Bayreuth and Tohoku University in Japan. This is number 2235, which is in mathematics, analysis of singular and random systems, which is between Bielefeld University, close to Paderborn University, as a German partner, and the Korean partner is Seoul National University, with KAIST being associated. So this is one of the examples of currently progress international research training groups, and the only one between Germany and Korea, and it's currently in its second phase. And here's some report from the slides of this research training group. Currently, 8 students from Bielefeld are in Korea, and there's 1 student from Seoul National University is currently visiting Bielefeld. This is still because of the COVID problems. Usually it's a larger and equal number on both sides. Right, this is the third generation, very international. Yeah, I'm gonna, 2 postdocs, one from Korea, and oh yes, Kias is also involved, KAIST and Kias. And here you see some excursion, for example, to Paderborn and to Jeju Island, and some recommendations by the organizers of this training group is that what is crucial to the success or failures, trust among the 2 partners on all levels, and Korean postdoc being present at the German university as kind of a hub and translator interface between the Korean and German PhD students. Right, and finally, another current progress research training group in chemistry between Münster, which is also close to Paderborn on the one hand, and Japan, Nagoya University on the other hand. So this concludes my discussion of international research training groups. And currently there are only single one in with Korea, Seoul National University, KAIST and KIAS associated in mathematics, none in computer science. And there are currently 2 in progress with Japan, one with Bayreuth University in geology, and one with Nagoya University in chemistry. Again, nothing in computer science, and I think there's a big opportunity for international research training group between German university or universities, remember, right? For example, Alliance on the one side, and let's say a Korean university, maybe KAIST in computer science.